Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Darkula. So what I'm going to do today is just revisit docking a remote in space. So what I did previously, and firstly shout out to Blazing Stag to remind me how drones work, is firstly, for example, when I did the remotes on Earth, I had it orientated as docking and gravity. So the remote would be on top of the connector, the eye, sometimes as I see it, facing forward. So basically what happens is in gravity it orientates itself so that the connector is looking down. And stupidly enough, I did the same thing in space. So with the eye forward, the slot as the top, and left and right at the front. So the connector itself would be orientated in gravity to face down. And what that would mean is if I bring it up into space and I want to do the same thing in space, the problem is the connector is not going to line up with the base connector. So the problem I would have is it would come in any direction and not be facing the connector at the bottom would not be connected or facing the way I wanted to connect to the base. So it would just be a little bit off. So for example, if as it travels through space, it would reorientate itself, turn a little bit to the left, turn a little bit to the right, and that would mean, again, basically that even maybe this direction, the connector won't connect. It won't face the connector, it won't be in the right area. So let's get rid of this. So what I would basically do now is, with the reminder from Blazing Stag, is that the remote faces into the connector so that as it's flying into the base, the orientation is not going to matter. The nose is going to be facing into the base itself. So that's going to make the big difference in this reconnecting to the base. Alright, so let's go on to the next step. So again, just going to basically make sure that it faces forward. Just double check which is up, down for this drone. Yeah, that's up. And might need to double check timers. No, I think timers are okay. So I'm going to take remote control of the drone. Now the big thing again is I'm going to type in the GPS locations. So we're going to start off where we are, and my big advice is don't type it in global chat when you're setting it up on a multiplayer server. Faction chat or maybe even whisper, but you do need to do it this way to put the GPS where you want the remote to come to, because the GPS is going to be centered on the remote itself, and that's basically what you want. So I just switched off the connector to make sure I don't get hung up on the magnetic lock. Connector back on again, and then just going to lay out the patrol route. But basically what I'm going to do first now is create a line up position. Line up position is where the drone is going to fly to, so that it flies straight into the docking connector. And if you bear with me, I'm going to just basically build out a route for the drone to follow. Hey, so having set up 8 patrol points, I do remember timer block. Now I need 2 timer blocks in it. There's already 1 timer block. Just to find a spot to hide it under the armor. No. Side. No, that's going to be thruster. Let's try the other side. That looks good. Now let's just recover up the holes I made. Let's hide the evidence. Okay, so again, remote access. Let's call it something. Patrol bot 5000. No, patrol bot is fine enough, good enough. ISO control. Gonna set up the sorter. No, timer blocks. So as I said, I have a timer block. 1 second. So when it gets to the base and wants to dock, I wanted to try and dock for the second. Okay, and then the autopilot on. Right, sorted. Gonna do whitelist. So basically what it's gonna do is from the base, it's gonna keep on pulling uranium power. Kinda resupply itself every time it docks. Maybe I don't need to do uranium. The small reactors is gonna pull anyway automatically, and the route's not that long, so it won't die for lack of power before it reaches the dock again. Yeah, so if I put it on the base, on the server, probably won't have it pull uranium, but again I need it to allow uranium through, but I do want it to push ammo in. So might have too much uranium on this drone. So remote control, I would prefer to have collision off so that as it's flying around it's not going to smack in ships and things around the base, but unfortunately if you have collision on, it's not going to fly to the base. Now of course you want one way, so it flies the patrol route and not try to turn around immediately. So start off, it's going to be on dock already. So from the dock I wanted to fly to that lineup position, basically to fly up straight from where it is. And then I'm just going to have it go to point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, point 6, and 7, and 8. So at lineup position, probably don't need to do it at lineup at the moment, but lineup I want to make sure it is flying forward. So I'm going to go to remote, basically just double checking, making sure that it flies forward when it reaches that point. Then it's going to fly the patrol. My mouse seems to be a little bit off with the orientation, but it works on my side. So when it reaches lineup, I actually wanted to switch itself around so that it flies backwards. When it reaches the dock, I wanted to start the docking timer so that it docks itself. You could put that timer on a little bit of a loop to, let's say, try to keep on docking just in case it's off, but it seems to work for me to do it once. So when we get to line up position, I do want it to start docking process. So as I said on this one, I do want to make sure that it is going forward. So it's on the dock, moves to line up, switch to flying forward, and actually I should already do that, fly forward at the docking position and not just start the remotes. Alright, so I'm gonna let it run now. So again, just to go through the setup, what I've done. It's on the dock, goes to line up position 1. I'd make sure that it's flying forward. And then when it gets to the whole patrol point, gets to line up the second time, what I wanted to do is switch its orientation so that it starts flying backwards. And what I did forget to do here, and I'll fix it, is that when it gets to dock, it should actually fly forward again. Basically reverse into the dock, the connector point. When it starts again, it goes to it flies forward out of the thing. So it will go to the dock, it will lock and dock, and timer will start for autopilot on. Autopilot on, it will stop the connector. I said switch lock, no, but I don't want switch lock, I actually wanted to unlock. Just in case it's not locked, then actually I'm locking it back and then autopilot can start again. Alright, so looks like I've got it set up to run. And let's start it. Now what Blazing Stag did is he put buttons on his. So you just press the button and the whole routine starts. Very nice idea, but I just got mine running through the terminal. So I just got dampeners locked to the remote and I will have it running. So we're approaching line-up position, and this GPS itself, as you saw in the remote programming, I've told it to switch now to fly backwards. So basically it's going to reverse into the docking position, and then when it reaches the docking position, it is going to start the timer to dock itself. Started the second timer for 10 seconds to relog on, to undock and start the autopilot. Now, which is the problem, the thing you saw that I did wrong there? I'm gonna go into it quickly, remote again. And on the docking, actually I do want to remote to switch back to flying forward. Okay, so I'm not going to run through the whole route again just to show that it's going to work now, but basically the main idea is on the dock, fly way forward, go to a line-up position, go through the whole patrol, go up to that line-up position, switch the remote to reverse in, and then on your docking GPS tell it to dock and connect to the base. So thank you very much everybody for your time. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you again next time. Bye bye everybody.